Hi friends, welcome to my channel, and today in this video I'm going to show you how to migrate VMware vCenter Server Appliance from 6.5 to 6.7. So as we all know, vCenter Appliance is basically a Linux based appliance which run vCenter Server itself, with the embedded database, which is PostGIS. So we are going to see the infrastructure, and then we are going to migrate that infrastructure which is running on vCenter Server Appliance 6.5 to 6.7. So before you plan to upgrade your vCsa infrastructure, you need to make sure what all components which you have, and which is integrated with the vCenter appliance, like if you have any backup infrastructure, if you have any other NSX or any other applications like from VMware or from the third party, you need to make sure those are compatible with the 6.7 or the latest version which you are doing the upgrade. So once you have all those information and you are good to go for the upgrade for your vCsa, then you can go ahead and plan for the upgrade. So this upgrade is going to give you some downtime as well, because it's going to migrate the database and all the configuration from one appliance to another appliance. So it's going to give it downtime also, so you need to make sure you have already prepared for the downtime, and you have conveyed the information about the downtime to the end users who is basically going to consume the vCenter server appliance for their day-to-day tasks. So once you have all those information, then you can go ahead and run the upgrade. So for the upgrade path and metrics, you can go ahead and check on a VMware website. They have a very good web page to compare the all your products, which is basically released by VMware. So I have recently checked. So for the recent vCenter appliance, which is 7.0 is released. So if you see here, we are going to upgrade 6.5.0 to basically 6.3, 6.7.u3. So this is our basically infrastructure. So you can see we can go ahead and upgrade anything which is running on 6.5 u1. We can upgrade it to basically anything which is go to 6.7.u3. So you have to make sure you have the correct version of the and you have followed the metrics which is released by VMware, basically for the upgrade of the appliance. So once you have all those parameters past your vCenter infrastructure, past those parameters, then you can go ahead and do the prerequest for the migration. So this is my demo setup which I'm going to use in this my video to upgrade the vCsa infrastructure. So vCsa upgrade is going to take lots of time, maybe few hours or 3 or 4 hours. So you need to make sure you have everything in place, and you have taken the downtime, and you have time to do this activity. So I recommend, if you are doing in production, I recommend you to go ahead and do these type of critical upgrades on weekend, so you have a time to recover in case anything goes fail. So this is my infrastructure basically, where I have Windows 10 console machine, or where from which machine I'm going to run my vCenter server appliance upgrade. And if you see here, this is my Windows 10 machine. If I log in here, this is basically my end user machine, you can say, from where I'm going to run my all the upgrades and everything related to my infrastructure. So I'm going to just log into my all hyper esxi host and vCenter server itself. So you can see these are logged, these hosts are logged in. So the first server, I have domain control, which is my domain control for this infrastructure, which is my domain name is victorinfosol.lan. So you can see here this machine running Active Directory and DNS. So you must have Active Directory infrastructure to for vCsa. So this is my domain control. And second server, I have esxi server, which is basically providing esxi storage to my both the esxi host, which is my prod esxi01 and esxi02, both having 24 gig of memory. And if you go here, this is my esxi server. If I go here and click on esxi, you can see I have 4 learns here created, which is connected state, and it's connected to my ESX prod target. So this is my esxi server, and we have 2 virtual machines here which is running Windows Server 2012, just sitting on my infrastructure. You can see here, you can see 2 virtual machines, these are running. So I have basically created infrastructure which you feel like you are doing this activity on production, so you can get the experience how this is this migration is going to behave in your production environment. So and next we have a vCenter appliance where I have logged in. So this is my vCenter appliance. If I go here and click on about vSphere, you can see we are running 6.5. and if I go ahead and log into appliance itself on appliance page, so 5480 is port number which you can directly log into VMware appliance. So I'm going to log in here, pass my credential to log in. So I'm on an appliance management console. Seems something went low. So you can see here, this is my appliance hostname invcsa01.victorfosol.lan, and this is running 6.5, and this is embedded with this is running with vCenter server with an embedded platform service controller. So platform service controller is also embedded with this appliance itself. So and next we have 2 esxi hosts which is running here. You can see esxi01 and esxi02. So both all my infrastructure is running basically inside the VMware workstation. So this is my infrastructure which we have discussed. So the first thing I recommend you to go ahead and take the complete backup of your vCenter server appliance. If you have any backup tool which can take the virtual machine complete backup, you can go ahead and do that. If you don't have, you can go ahead and click the backup here, and you can take the database backup and compliance configuration backup, everything. So in case anything goes wrong, you can go ahead and come back again. So either you can just go ahead and clone this machine, shut down your vCenter appliance and clone that machine and keep it for one copy for the safety purpose. So this is our infrastructure. So I have both machines in my cluster. You can see both ESXi in my cluster. So the HA is enabled, DRS is enabled, everything is enabled. So now I'm going to make sure I got everything is in place when we run this upgrade. So now what I'm going to do, I have mounted the initiate the upgrade. So I have already mounted my vCenter server 6.7 appliance DVD which I have downloaded from VMware, and now I'm going to click here vCenter UI installer and Win32, and then I'm going to run my installer file which is here. This is going to launch basically a vCenter appliance installer. So what type of installation you need to do: install, upgrade, migrate, or restore. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this upgrade. So click on upgrade. This is saying like you have existing vCenter appliance or platform service controller which you want to upgrade. So yes, I want to do this. And introduction, so this is going to be run upgrade, allow upgrade from 6.0 to 6.7, and platform service controller 6.0 to 6.5, 6.7. so this is good. So click next. We are going to basically upgrade 6.5 to 6.7. so end user license agreement, hit next, and connect to source appliance. So in my case, my appliance is invcsa01.victorinfosol.lan. so you need to make sure you type fqdn or server name, server IP address. So I have typed my fqdn. So click on connect to source, and it's going to connect to the source basically appliance. So you can see connection established. Now it's going to ask you administrator credential for vSphere local, so which is SSO credential, so I'm going to type my credential here, and this is going to ask you OS root password as well, so you need to make sure you have both password with you whenever you are going to initiate the migration. And then it's going to ask you vCenter appliance name for the source, or the, you can say basically esxi host. So I'm going to put here my vCenter appliance name itself. So this is my appliance name, and I'm going to put my credential here. So for this I have credential, which is my administrator itself. I'm going to type that, and I'm going to type the administrator password and click next. It's asking for the certificate warning. Go ahead and click yes. Now it's going to ask you the esxi host or vCenter server where you want to do the appliance deployment. So I'm going to deploy my appliance on the same basically you can say the same vcsa which we are going to upgrade. So invcsa01 dot victor infosol dot lan, and I'm going to type my credential here. Dot local and password for administrator vSphere. Click next. Yes, certificate awarding and where you want to place. So I'm going to select my data center. I having one data center India. If you have multiple, you can go ahead and select that also. So click next and select the compute resource. You can select any of the cluster or any of the hosts. So I'm going to select my cluster. It will check which host is free and it will deploy there. So click next, and now it's asking for the setup the virtual machine name. So this is the basically a name of the virtual machine which is going to be deployed. Like my current machine is invcsa01, so I'm going to give that name invcsa67. So this is not going to change the DNS name or the anything else. It's only the virtual machine name. So root password, so I'm going to type my root password here for the new machine which we are going to deploy, and click next. Then it's going to ask you size, what type of size you are going to deploy. So I'm going with the tiny option, which is going to 2 core and 10 gig of memory. So click next, and then you have data store, which data store you want to deploy. So I'm going to deploy on my most free data store, which you can say either you can select any data store which having enough space to deploy. So I'm going to select ds03, and I'm going to enable the thing disk smooth. So click next, and now where you want to configure the network, so I'm going to give it to vmnet dv switch port grid, which is my VM network basically, and I'm going to give my temporary IP address. So it's going to ask you temporary IP address. Once this IP address the machine is deployed, it's going to basically do the copy of the data from source vcsa to destination vcsa through this IP address. So subnet mask for this machine, and I'm going to type my gateway and my DNS as well. So click next, and now this is the information what we are going to do. So source, this is my source vCenter server, target vCenter server is the same, and VM name invns vcsa 67, and this is the deployment type, and all the other information like IP and network configuration and data store, everything is there. So go ahead and click on finish, and now you can say stage 1 deploy the vCenter server appliance with an embedded platform service controller is initializing. So you can see the machine has been created here, and you can see deploy OVF template. So this machine is basically deploying from the OVF template which is inside our this media basically you can say, Inside this media we have vcsa appliance, you can say appliance template, OVF template. So you can see the OVA file here. So the machine is going to deploy, and once this deployment is done we will proceed with the stage 2. So I'm going to pause my recording here, and once we are done with the stage 1 I'm going to resume from there. So you can see the stage 1 is almost 97% completed, and it's the setup is installing some VMware tools on this Linux appliance. So if I go ahead and just console to this machine, you can see this machine is powered on, and it's configured with the temporary IP address which we have provided during our wizard migration wizard. So it's going to take some more time. So yeah, you can see here stage 1 you have successfully completed deploy vCenter appliance platform service controller. So click continue. So it's going to take you to the migration wizard where we need to give this basically a migration task. So introduction, vCenter appliance, we can say upgrade source vCenter appliance. So click next, which is stage 2 hour. So connect to the source vCenter server. So it's going to connect and pre-check few things with the current appliance, which is vcsa 01 in our infrastructure. So it's basically going to run some pre-upgrades checks in our source infrastructure to make sure everything is good, and we are ready to proceed further steps. So it's going to take some time. It's going to basically take 1 minute to 5 minutes depending on your configuration or components which you have integrated with the vCenter appliance. So just wait for it. So it's going to give you some warning and description about the migration related to esxi 6.5 and lower version are basically some host upgrade baseline image. It's going to give you some information about it, and the solution, what is resolution, also it's going to give you. So go ahead and click close, and now we have a select upgrade data. So I'm going to migrate everything like configuration, historical data, which contains events, task, performance metric, everything. So my data is very less, it's around 3.18 gigs. So I'm good to go ahead and click next, and this is the CIEP program. So I'm not going to join this since this is demo. Click next, and this is what we are going to do. So our vCenter server source 1 and the target one, where we are going to migrate our configuration and everything, and what we are going to migrate, and size of the data. So this is saying you make sure you have a proper backup of your current source vCenter server. So I must recommend you to go ahead and take the complete VM backup and the database and others backup as well for your current source vCenter infrastructure. So go ahead and now click finish, and this is going to give a warning like your current infrastructure vCenter server is going to be powered off. So go ahead and click OK, and now you will see the upgrade is going to be initiated, and soon you will see your vcsa 01 is going to be power off. So once this power off is going to be happen, you are basically no more going to have access to this vCenter server till the time the new vCenter servers which we are deploying is going to be live. So I'm going to log into my esxi host to make sure I monitor the deployment and everything once my vCenter goes down. So currently if I go to virtual machine, this machine hosting the esxi02 hosting my old vCenter server, and prod 01 is hosting the new one. So by default it's moved due to DRS which we have configured in our infrastructure. So now you can see this is exporting the data from the source vCenter server, and then it's going to set up the target vCenter server, like it's going to change the name and all the details, and going to start the services. And once everything is set up correctly, then it's going to import the data from the source to target vCenter server, and we are good with the migration. So you will see soon this INVCSA01 is going to be powered off. So I'm going to pause recording here, and once we are good with the next step, like vCenter appliance is going to be powered off, I'm going to resume from there and we'll see further. So now you can see the upgrade stage 2 has been completed and everything went successfully completed. So now you can see my INVCSA01 is powered off, and if I log in to my vCenter now, let's try to refresh this, and this is going to allow us to log in again. So I'm going to use my administrator credential, and I'm also going to log into appliance management console, so VMware appliance management. So root and password for this appliance 6.7. so you can see now its version is showing 6.7, and this is vCenter appliance with embedded platform service controller. So everything looking good here, and now you can see the upgrade is also completed. So INVCSA01 has been powered off, and 6.7 is now in production. So this is good. So we have successfully migrated our vCenter appliance from 6.5 to 6.7. So post this, I recommend you to go ahead and validate all this configuration in your host and make sure everything is working fine. And once you have uh, confirm like your infrastructure is good, you go ahead and test if you have any third-party tools or any other plugins with your vCenter appliance server. So check those things, and once you got to know everything is working fine, then you have successfully completed your migration from vCenter server appliance 6.7 to 6.5 to 6.7. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe me for more videos. And if you have any query, any question related to this video, you can always post them in my given mail IDs. Thank you once again. Bye bye.